Here is a 2025 BMW X5 M60i in mineral white metallic over coffee sensifin interior. This is the M detuned, more or less. It can outperform the Mercedes-Benz AMG GLE 53. It outperforms a Porsche Cayenne GTS. And the savings that you're getting with this SUV, is this the best SUV for luxury and performance? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the pros and cons, the problem that I have, and the comparable rivals. Starting in the front, we have the M Shadowline lights because we have the M Sport Professional package, which includes the M Sport Package Pro that also gives us the extended Shadowline trim, over 8 inches of clearance, 2-axle air suspension. Unfortunately, you do have to add that, but going into the M60i starts with standard all-wheel drive. The kidney grille will get the matte black surrounding it with the gloss black insert, and the lower will have a more aggressive bumper with front and rear parking sensors, but you will have to tick the box for a 360-degree reverse camera. What makes this vehicle unique is it's under 6 figures, and you're getting basically an M engine. Underneath the hood is going to house the 4.4 liter BMW M twin power turbo that produces 523 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque paired to a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. The unique thing about this vehicle is you're getting the same torque as the M competition. The horsepower is going to be different because that's 617 horsepower. Reaching 60, BMW says at 4.2 seconds. When you drop it into the M competition, you're at 3.7 seconds. So when we go back to those rivals, the numbers are going to start making sense. The SQ8 will be faster by 0.2 seconds on the 0 to 60. But against Mercedes AMG GLE 53, this is going to beat it. You'd have to go into the 63, which doesn't compete against this, and it's almost the same price as the M competition, reaching 60 at the same speeds. Going against the Lamborghini Urus, that would be the same speeds as the M competition. So you're seeing the value that you're getting as a total package here because you're able to compete with vehicles that's not even in its class. Achieving 17 MPGs for the city, 22 MPGs for the highway. We have upgraded 22-inch M V-spoke jet black wheels, and that professional package adds the M Sport calipers with the red brake calipers, housing 4 pistons in the front with the single floating caliper in the rear, weight distribution at 50.4, 49.6, which is going to be the best dynamics against anybody in its class. Plus, it has standard rear axle steering, which will steer the rear wheels up to 5 degrees the opposite direction of the steering wheel when you're going at low speeds. At high speeds, you'll go the same as the front wheels, which will basically give you that 50-50 weight distribution. But going into some cons for me, it's not going to have standard soft close doors or the air suspension or a 360-degree reverse camera. And when I'm at a 6-figure price, that's something that I think it should be given. LED taillights, the lower is going to get more aggressive with the quad exhaust tips, towing up to 7,200 pounds. And when you're going back into the rival perspective, that's actually more than the Lamborghini Urus. And I understand it doesn't compete against that. I'm just explaining to you that you can literally buy a his and her, your son or daughter a vehicle. That's 3 of these for the price of 1 of those. That's the performance that you're getting. So is it the best for performance? Dynamically speaking, it will be. As for the 0 to 60, you know you can get more horsepower out of this because the M competition bumps up to 617, in which the price has jumped up. But when you go into the M60i, you can still get this under 6 figures, which all the vehicles it competes against will be more money. Power liftgate going into 33.9 cubic feet of storage. You can also lower the suspension by pushing this button right here in the back. This way it makes it easier for loading purposes with a privacy cover, 12-volt charger, LED interior lights, bag holders on both sides. Underneath the floor gets a spare tire. Unfortunately though, you have to go into the back to split fold the rear bench at a 40-20-40 split or a 60-40 split. This is going to max cargo to 72.3 cubic feet. This is a twin turbo V8. I need to go inside and start it up so you can hear that exhaust though. 20-way power seat adjustment for the front, coffee SensaFin interior, heated, ventilated memory for the driver, headroom, and leg room. The X5 is a driver-focused setup. Instead of getting the wood inlays, we have the carbon fiber inlays that's going to go through the center of the dash. SensaFin for the top, heads-up display, auto-dimming rear view mirror, full LED interior lights with a large panel moonroof, and the ambient lighting starts on the passenger side with the M badging and the satin aluminum underneath it. The one curved panel with 2 screens integrated. There's a 14.9 touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Wi-Fi hotspot, iDrive 8.5, and we have a reverse camera with front and rear parking sensors, and the trajectory will expand out. You can change different view angles, and you can also line it up for the tow. With quad climate control, the carbon fiber comes into play, opening up into a wireless charging pad, the digital key for the X5 M60i, and the key fob. 12-volt USB, the rocker to put it into gear. The full M will still have a gear lever. It's going to be soft to touch, opens up into a medium-sized storage pocket with a USB port. Leather-wrapped steering wheel, 3-spoke, multi-function, paddle shifts, and the gauge cluster can go through an array of different content. We do not have the AR, which would show the camera right there in the center, but you can change the cluster design so you could have it more open, you could have it a little bit more performance driven, and you could do the same thing for the heads-up display. Door panel and dash configuring together. The Harman Kardon starts up top. It's going to be more of your sporty materials, one touch up and down for all the windows, ambient lighting with the satin aluminum, carbon fiber, and a long storage pocket with a storage pocket for the driver. For the back seats, headroom and leg room. Both of the front seats will have storage with a USB port, dual climate control settings in the back. You'll get the piano black with the satin aluminum, a storage tray here with USB ports and a 12-volt, cup holders with a storage, with an air vent on the side pillar. The door is going to have the same materials that's found in the front and almost the same size storage pocket sliding into the center. The floor isn't flat, so you could sit this way or this way. Because it's wide, you're not going to be sharing too much leg, butt, shoulder space. And as for headroom, still not a problem. 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. Let's see what we got. More or less a 50-50 weight distribution. It's playful, it handles well. The exhaust filters in. But let's see the true 0 to 60 at the 4.2 BMW's quoting. She is fast and composed. It's definitely a car that's going to put a smile on your face when you put it into sport mode and you're actually engaged with it, because it can do pretty much everything that you need it to do. Then you just put it in comfort, drive it like a luxury vehicle. It's literally the best of both worlds, and it's still under 6 figures as long as you don't option every single feature. And that's going to take me to some pros and cons, and we're going to start off with the pros. This is more or less a detuned M competition, and I get it. 617 horsepower is night and day difference in 523. However, when you're talking just a few tenths of a second 0 to 60 quicker, is it worth spending $30,000 to $40,000 to start getting something like that optioned up? Or just get this, enjoy it for the weekend, and get maybe your everyday vehicle if you're concerned about fuel. Interior has more than enough room for 5 adults, plus you can still tow up to 7,200 pounds with cargo nearly 40 cubic feet. So if you're thinking, well, I like a third row, and the third row is an X7, it's maybe too long for me. I mean, you could get this as long as you have 5 in your family, and it would be sufficient. Plus, it's gonna be a little bit more of a sporty drive because it's not as long or as wide. Another pro, even in daily driving, look at what you're getting. A smooth driving vehicle. But like I was saying on the exterior con, it is not a standard 2-axle air suspension, but you do get standard X-Drive, which is the all-wheel drive system, and it's intelligent, so it will send 100% of power to the rear wheels whenever you're mashing on the gas pedal. A con for me will be that everything is in this infotainment screen, in which you do have to hit multiple inputs to actually use it. But then on the Pro, if you're adjusting the seat settings, because you got a total of 20 of them, everything is right here on the seat, plus you can see it on the infotainment if you don't know what you're actually looking for. Whereas when you go into Audi, 6 to 8 positions are going to be in the infotainment screen. It's all computerized, which you have to take your eyes off the road a little bit more so there. Gonna put it back into Sport Plus. Let's rock and roll. And that exhaust note, it's just a symphony. I mean, it's tough nowadays because vehicles are not doing V8 engines, and when you have a twin turbo paired with it, it just makes it a blast to drive. And then it's not sacrificing on comfort. Another pro to me is the heads-up display is large. A con, we don't have the AR, which would be for the 360-degree reverse camera, which we don't have that either. It would show the camera in the front in the gauge cluster. It's a really cool feature, especially when you're using the adaptive cruise control with the lane keep assist, and it's driving for you up to about 0.2 to 0.3 miles. You could see everything there. Obviously, you're not going to be just sitting and watching the gauge cluster. You should be engaged with the vehicle too. Just some of these features, I kind of wish that they were in the vehicle at this price point. Because if you go into the X5 S-Drive 40i, you're not going to be getting a lot of standard features either. So bumping up to the M60i, I feel some of these luxury amenities should just start trickling in. Going back to competition, it's hard to say this is not the best in class, dynamically speaking, and for performance. Maneuverability, not an issue. And pretty much every car that it competes against, except for the Mercedes-Benz GLE AMG 53, is going to be minimum $10,000 to over $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more than this, especially if you are comparing this to a Porsche Cayenne GTS. That's going to be slower than this variant. And yet, when you're thinking about a Lamborghini Urus, like I was saying on the exterior, it's 0.5 seconds quicker than this, and you're paying 3 times the price. But let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2025 BMW X5 M60i for our car review.